Welcome to miniCAD 7. Today I'm going to show you a few of the old features and a few of the new features in miniCAD, but mainly today it's about bringing in raw data from your GPS and Travis and then creating point selections. So here we go. So I'll start off by loading. I've got 2 days GPS data, which is here and here, both in CSV format with point number, east, north, height and code. So this is the first day. I'm going to load it in as GNSS1 because that describes it nicely, and there's all the data. And if you have a look at the point selection now, I've got the plan which you would have seen from my localization video, which shows you how to create the plan information. We don't have any plan information in this case at the moment, and the GPS. So if I hit view, it's on points only, but you can see that it now selects all the points in that GPS file. Okay, now I'll bring in the second day's GPS data. So I'm going to merge that with this one, and there's the second day there. I'm going to call it GNSS2 and bring it in, and there we are. There's that data overlaid. And if I now go to the point selection information, you can see I've got GNSS1 and I've got GNSS2, and if you want to view that second day's data, you can see it's not showing any of the data that was picked up on the first day. Well, that's what you'd expect anyway. So we'll just save that file. It can't save it as CSV, so we'll save it in MCD file. I'll actually overwrite this file. I'll call it test job. Okay, now this is that data was existing. I mean that software was existing in miniCAD 6. So now I've got some new utility software which I want to bring in. It's brought it on the wrong screen. We're going to merge it into that test job information. So we select test job. The screen goes green to show you that you're actually merging. And now the data recorder format I've got is TDS raw, and again, I've got 2 days Travis information from my jigger. So I select that file, and it tells me that it's converted the file into MCD via an NFF file, which is my neutral file format, and placed it in the same folder. So if we have a quick look at that data, I've just got to go to the folder, which is bringing raw data in. And you can see, first thing it did was took the raw data and converted it into a neutral file format, which is this format. I'll explain some of this later, but J a job line, S a station line, P is prism height, and V my side shots in horizontal angle, vertical angle, and slope distance. And then from there, we went to also produce a field file, which is the a printout of the data which you can show. So it gives you, if it already finds a point in the system, which it did from the GPS, it gives you a delta east, delta north, delta height. Those points in the NFF file have to be coded as 2001 and not what 2001 actually was. And then these points have been renumbered. I won't explain why at this stage because it's not part of this tutorial. But yeah, those in miniCAD now, these point numbers from the field have been renumbered. You can stop the renumbering occurring. I probably should have done that, but I haven't. So now it's also renamed that file that we were merging into as 22093. It renames it exactly the same name as the data file you're bringing in. So now we're going to bring in the second day's data of the TDS, which is 220903.2, and we'll get a 220903-2 miniCAD from this. It won't overwrite the data created in there. It'll preserve both files. So once again, that's what's happened. I'm going to exit here, and now I'm in the test job, and as you can see, if I go to select MCD files, you can see it created a 22093, which is the first day's data plus the GPS data, and this has now got all 4 days data. So if we have a look here, you can see we've got a lot of data. We've got a few dud bits of information floating around in here, like this line here, but as you know, that always happens with field data. Now if we have a look at what we've got with the point selections, the software, the new utility software, automatically creates field days. So if you want to see what was done on the first field day, you can view that. If you want to see what was done on the second field day, we can view that. And this miniCAD 6 did not allow us the option to merge any things, but that option is now available if I go back into the utility software. I won't save the drawing because I haven't actually done anything to it. In the utility software, I choose File, Point Selection Union, and the job, and I'm presented with the four point selections from the field data and the plan. Now if I select the plan, you'll see it grays all of this side out. If I deselect it, and as soon as I select one point on the AND side, it also grays out the OR side, because you can only merge more than one point selection in the OR section, or more than one point selection in the AND. And the reason that is because it's just, if you think about it, it just doesn't work otherwise. You can't mix AND and ORs together. So let's say I want to get my GPS data as a union, and you can change the name if you wish. We save that, and then I'll open up the point selection again before I leave here. Keeps putting it on my bottom screen, but you can see I've got a union 1. So now let's join together my total station data. That'll become union 2, and then select the point selection again, put it down the bottom again. Now this time I want to do all four, and that becomes union 3, and I can save that. We'll go back into the job. If we have a look at the point selections now, you can see I've got all those unions. By the way, you can also rename your point selections here. So I might rename that one, select union 1, and then rename it all GNSS. I might rename the union 2. So you can also delete, as you can see, all jigger or something like that. And I might call this one all field. So now it's pretty obvious. If I select the all field, you can see I get absolutely everything selected. If I want to just see all my GPS, I select all GPS, and it's now doing that, but not my Travis. And if I do all jigger, it does the all jiggers. And we can also select points, lines, and arcs, and we can select inversions of both of them. So if I invert the all jigger, now you can see I am getting the inverse. So those point selections are very useful, and most people don't use it enough. The only other thing I want to show you now is how I can bring in use the copy and pastes. So I'm just going to open up a different job, this plan job, and remember I had already a point selection called plan, and hit view all, and you can see now I've got just my plan information and my reference marks, and I don't think I have any easements, but nonetheless that's selected. Okay, so that's the selection. To this selection we need to add just a common point from the field data before, so let's go to this gutter point, we'll select it as well. Oh, I've got a couple there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 2120. So that's selected. You can see I've still got my plan. I hit the control button to select that, and I've still got, that's left my plan selection on as well. So we now right click, we select copy, we go back to our other job, and I won't save anything, and we say, we just simply paste that in, and it doesn't ask where it wants to be pasted, which is why I needed to store it. I left clicked, and there's that gutter point. So now let's select all this data here from the plan. Let's go change datum, which will move the point. The current selection is correct. We want to move it based on this gutter point to the same gutter point was 2120, I think. We got different numbering. I'll just zoom in, it was the lower one of the two, this one. We don't want to change heights, and hit OK, and that will now line up all of the data correctly over our block. So again, that's another fairly unused feature of miniCAD, I believe. The cut, copy, paste can be done between miniCAD jobs or internally, and one day we might change it so it'll can be based around a coordinate, which might make it a little bit simpler again. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've learned something new, and catch up with me in the next video.